Global TV News Prime, Nigeria's First Lady calls for urgent climate action on World Environment Day. In Business, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria says new tax framework boosts investment climate. And on the foreign scene, South Africa, Kenya expand partnership with new deals. And in sports, Nigeria Volleyball Federation appoints coaches across national volleyball teams. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. And now the news in full. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called for urgent and collective action to address the growing impact of climate change, urging Nigerians and the global community to intensify effort towards environmental protection and stability. In a message to mark World Environment Day 2026 with the theme, A Global Call for Climate Action, Tinubu said the observance presents an opportunity to reflect on worsening effect of environmental degradation and the need for immediate action. She noted that climate change is no longer a distant threat, warning that rising temperature, flooding, drought, desertification, and other environmental challenges continue to affect lifestyles, food security, and public health across the world, including Nigeria. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State on Friday has signed into law Executive Order 002 of 2026 on the regulations and enforcement of vehicle registration and traffic management, thus restricting the operation of commercial motorcycle, otherwise known as Okada, between the hours of 10:30 and 5:30 a.m. daily. Governor Makinde noted that the executive order is part of the additional measure the state is taking to improve security. While signing the executive order in his office, the governor noted that the move became necessary to strengthen the state's security architecture and to ensure the enforcement of vehicle registration, regulations, and traffic management to better protect citizens' lives and properties. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting the lives of Nigerians, declaring that safety of citizens, the right to education remain top priority of the Tinubu administration. The assurance comes amid renewed concern over the abduction of school children and teachers in parts of the country. Nafisa Baba reports.
Recent attacks on schools in Oyo and Borno State have once again brought the nation's security challenges into sharp focus, raising concerns over the safety of students and protection of learning environments across the country. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, described the abduction of innocent school children and their teachers as an assault not only on affected families and communities but also on the future of the nation. According to him, such an act threatens the country's educational system and undermines the values that unite Nigerians.
Recent events in Oyo and Borno State, especially, and indeed in other parts of the country, have again tested our collective resolve as a people. The abduction of innocent school children and their teachers is not merely an attack on families or communities. It is an attack on the future of our nation, on education, and on the lives and the values that bind us all together as Nigerians.
The minister reiterated President Bola Tinubu's resolve to ensure the safe return of all victims, stressing that no child should be held in captivity under any circumstance. He noted that the president has directed all security agencies to intensify rescue efforts and ensure that perpetrators of such crimes are tracked down and brought to justice.
On behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the entire federal government of Nigeria, I wish to assure all Nigerians that the safe return of every child and every teacher currently in captivity remains a top national priority. The President has made it clear that no child belongs in captivity. and that no effort will be spared in ensuring that those responsible for these heinous crimes are brought to justice.
Muhammad Idris further revealed that the federal government is strengthening collaboration with international partners to tackle evolving security threats, particularly terrorism and cross-border criminal activities. While operational details remain classified for security reasons, he assured Nigerians that intelligence and security agencies are working in close coordination to prevent future attacks and enhance the safety of citizens nationwide. The federal government says it remains steadfast in its determination to secure every part of the country and guarantee an environment where children can learn without fear. Nafisa Baba, Global TV News.
As part of renewed efforts to strengthen security across the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT Police Command has announced the arrest of 3 suspected kidnappers in Zuba. The Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Sanusi, disclosed this while briefing journalists in Abuja. Kike Lomo Okere has details.
The FCT Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Sanusi, reaffirmed the command's commitment to proactive policing and intelligence-led operations aimed at protecting lives and properties across the FCT. He further disclosed the arrest of 2 suspected ammunition suppliers allegedly linked to terrorists and bandits, as well as members of a one-chance robbery syndicate, bringing the total number of suspect arrests to 7.
Further investigations revealed that after committing the crime, the suspect fled to Benue State, where he joined his girlfriend, Mrs. Kazan Vincent, and was making an arrangement to escape to his country of origin before his eventual arrest. Upon his arrest, 2 mobile phones were recovered from him, including that of the deceased. We have been able to trace the decomposing remains of the victim to the crime scene, recovered the remains which have been deposited at Sahad Hospital, Abuja, for autopsy.
The Commissioner further reveals the enforcement of Inspector General of Police directive on the total ban of tinted vehicles across the Federal Capital Territory. He says the measure forms part of broader intelligence-driven policing strategies aimed at combating kidnapping, armed robbery and other violent crimes, strengthening public safety within the territory. According to the command, security agencies have observed that criminals increasingly exploit tinted glass to conceal identities and evade detection during operations.
FCT Police Command has commenced a comprehensive enforcement operation targeting vehicles operating in violation of these regulations. This exercise is not intended in any way to inconvenience law-abiding citizens, but it is to deny criminals the cover they exploit to operate crimes against innocent citizens and the FCT residents at large. As part of this ongoing enforcement, over 30 vehicles found to be operating with tinted glasses, covered or obscured number plates, and without proper registration have been impounded.
The Commissioner of Police called on residents to remain vigilant and support security agencies by promptly reporting suspicious activities within their communities. He further says renewed security measures are part of ongoing efforts to strengthen public safety and sustain the fight against criminal elements operating within the Federal Capital Territory. Kike Lomo Okere, Global TV News.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says major infrastructure projects across Abuja and its satellite communities have reached completion and are ready for inauguration as part of activities marking President Bola Tinubu's 3rd anniversary in office. Wike stated this during an inspection of the ongoing projects across the nation's capital. Kabir Hassan was there for Global TV.
After inspecting several road projects across the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT Minister expressed satisfaction with the quality and pace of work, describing the development as an evidence of the administration commitment to delivering dividend of democracy. Among the projects inspected were Jahi-Wuye Interchange, the Dewalais Airport Road to Kuje, the Kuje-Gwagwalada Road, the Abuja City Gate, and sections of this outer Southern Car Expressway. Wike said the project have significantly improved connectivity between the city center and satellite towns, reducing travel time and enhancing economic activities.
Very happy with the quality of job. You can see that you can drive from the city down to Kuje in less than 25 minutes.
The minister noted that the transformation of critical road infrastructure reflects President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and commitment to improving the life of residents. He also disclosed that the remodeling of the Abuja City Gate will be illuminated at night to showcase its aesthetic appeal and create a welcoming image for visitors entering the nation's capital.
Governance in action, dividend of democracy, the renewed hope working, and we believe by the grace of God from Monday we'll start the commissioning of these projects.
Wike announced that the inauguration of the completed road project will commence on June 8th and continue for 31 days, with several road projects across the city and satellite towns lined up for commissioning. The minister expressed confidence that the completed project will improve mobility, support economic growth, and further position Abuja as a modern capital city. Kabir Hassan, Global TV News.
Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says Nigeria risks missing out on the opportunity of the fourth industrial revolution if universities fail to equip graduates with relevant digital and technological skills. He gave the warning while delivering the 38th convocation lecture at the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. Correspondent Amarachi Ibe reports.
As technology continues to redefine economies and industries worldwide, the call for stronger investment in innovation, research, and digital education is becoming more urgent. Speaking at the 38th convocation lecture, Governor Hope Uzodinma said universities of technology must move beyond conventional learning and become drivers of innovation, entrepreneurship, and industrial transformation. He noted that advances in artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, and digital technology are rapidly shaping the global economy, stressing that Nigeria must act quick to avoid being left behind. Governor Uzodinma expressed confidence that with the right investment, partnership, and institutional reform, universities of technology can position Nigeria as a major player in the global digital economy.
It is therefore my proposition that Nigerian universities of technology, of which Puto is the flagship, must lead in this revolution, or we will jeopardize the future of this nation. We either build or we are built upon. We either sit at the table or stay on the menu. The choice is ours.
Governor Uzodinma said, although Africa missed previous industrial revolution, the current digital transformation presents Nigeria with a fresh opportunity to compete globally, provided institutions are stronger and innovation is prioritized. He maintained that the country possesses the talents required to succeed, but needs modern curriculum, increased research funding, and stronger links between universities and industries.
Let me begin with what the federal government, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is already doing. Nigeria's National Artificial Intelligence Strategy, developed under the Federal Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, and the National Information Technology Development Agency, was finalized in September last year. It sets ambitious targets for AI literacy among young Nigerians.
The governor called for accelerated curriculum reforms, establishment of innovation hubs, and stronger collaborations between academia and the private sector to transform ideas into viable businesses and sustainable economic growth. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, Global TV News.
Journalists covering the environment sector have called for environmental protection and climate action to be included in discussions ahead of the 2027 general election. The journalists who made the call in Abuja during activities marking this year's World Environment Day also called for climate change and environmental sustainability to become key issues in Nigeria's political discourse ahead of 2027 general election. Environment correspondent Ubong Usoro reports.
World Environment Day is a United Nations designated day observed annually on June 5th to encourage awareness and action for the protection of the environment. The day brings together government, organizations, communities, and individuals to address pressing environmental challenges such as climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, and desertification. Speaking on behalf of environmental journalists covering the sector in Abuja, Amechi Onyema, an environment reporter with Authority newspaper, called for increased investment in the training and capacity building of environmental journalists to strengthen climate reporting.
We are here for the briefing and how to deepen coverage of the environment sector and how we continue to let people know about the impact of the environment on our society and what we ought to do as individuals and collectively to ensure that the environment gets better.
Addressing the journalist, David Michael, Executive Director of the Global Initiative for Food Security and Ecosystem Preservation, GSEP, called for fearless and solution-driven reporting of environmental issues. He urged journalists to hold leaders accountable and ensure environmental concerns remain at the forefront of national conversations.
We call on every Nigerian who has not yet obtained their voter's card to do so and cast their votes wisely and vote for the future.
The journalist further called for climate action and environmental sustainability to become key issues in Nigeria's political discourse ahead of the 2027 general elections. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Now to the world of business, where Director General of the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, Dr. Adebowale Adekwokun, has unveiled a raft of reform aimed at modernizing Nigeria's public procurement system, including the deployment of digital procurement platforms, the Nigeria e-market, a stricter compliance mechanism, and new measures to expand opportunities for indigenous businesses. Speaking at the inaugural National Public Procurement Day and the Procurement Evolution showcased in Abuja, Adedokun said the reforms backed by President Bola Tinubu's administration will repositioning procurement as a strategic instrument for economic development, transparency, and institutional accountability. He also stated that the Bureau has automated key procurement process to reduce human interference and corruption risk, launched a secure Nigeria e-market to enhance competition and transparency, upgrade its contract categorization and certification database, and introduced the National Automated Procurement and Monitoring System to strengthen project monitoring and accountability. The Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, that is CITN, says Nigeria's new tax reform framework has improved the country's investment climate by making tax incentive more transparent, targeted, and performance-driven. Speaking at the institution's 2026 annual general meeting in Lagos, CITN President Innocent Ohago described the reform as a major fiscal policy initiative capable of boosting investment confidence, encouraging business expansion, and enhancing Nigeria's global competitiveness. The institution's president noted that a key achievement in the reform is the overhaul of the country's tax incentive regime, which had previously faced criticism over inefficiency and abuse. Crude oil prices have fallen below $95 per barrel following renewed optimism surrounding diplomatic peace negotiation between the U.S. and Iran. The easing of this geopolitical tension has raised hope that the Strait of Hormuz will soon reopen, which would avert severe supply chain disruption and replenish global oil reserve. Although prices remain highly sensitive given that early trading saw a brief spike due to fresh U.S. military strike in the region, but overall market trajectory has leaned lower of trade factors and diplomatic progress. Benue State government has taken a major step to boost food security, and Governor Hyacinth Alia officially flagged off the 2026 cropping season and distribution of subsidized fertilizer and farm inputs to farmers across the state. Governor Alia, who performed the flag off at the industrial layout in Makurdi, said the intervention is aimed at cutting production costs, increasing yields, and making agriculture the engine of the state's economy. Benue State correspondent Felicity Ndere has more.
The cutting of the tape ceremony marks the official launch of the 2026 cropping season and distribution of fertilizers and other inputs to farmers. Governor Hyacinth Alia announced that the 2026 input distribution will cover all the 23 local government areas, adding that the volume of fertilizers and other inputs have been increased to match the expanding farming populations.
May this season be greatest than every other season previously. Amen.
While emphasizing on the importance of the strategic land aggregation policy, which will boost food security and expand cultivated farmlands, Governor Alia disclosed that the fertilizers will be sold to farmers at 28,000 naira per bag, with the state government subsiding more than 50% of the products.
As we commence the 2026 fertilizer and other farm input sales and distribution exercise today, I express my optimism that this intervention will translate into increased productivity, bumper harvests, improved livelihoods, greater prosperity for our people and for the state.
Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Benjamin Anshavi, disclosed that the era of substandard fertilizers and other inputs was over, warning that strict monitoring measures have been put in place to deal with any form of fraudulent practice.
So as we flag off today, sales will commence immediately in all 23 local governments. I am going to put up also a strategic approach to ensure that there is effective monitoring so that there will be no diversion and it must get to the average farmers.
Chairman of the contracting firm, Julius Atoro, while commending the introduction of the cashless fertilizer distribution system adopted by the present administration, said the reform has enhanced transparency, accountability and efficiency in the sector.
Benue has been suffering, and Benue farmers have been suffering from the issue of adulterated fertilizer. We gave the governor our word and we said with this partnership, the issue of fake fertilizers will be a thing of the past. I am happy to report to you that we have delivered on that promise and on that mandate.
With the 2026 cropping season now officially open, Benue is banking on timely access to inputs to drive bombers harvest, create jobs, and strengthening the state's position as Nigerians' food basket. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere, reporting for Global Television News.
And now to the foreign scene. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has hosted his Kenyan President William Ruto for bilateral talks and a signing ceremony in the administrative capital, Victoria. The engagement is part of Ruto's 3-day visit to the country, and the two countries have to sign bilateral agreements and memorandum of understanding on issues that include defense, trade and sanitation. Uyi Agbomofuebe reports.
President Ramaphosa stated that South Africa will send envoys to other African countries and around the world after a spate of xenophobic attacks targeting immigrants from other nations on the continent. Ramaphosa made the comments at a press conference after talks with President Ruto, stating that he and Ruto had touched on the topic of migration during their talks.
South Africa is not the only country that is facing the challenge of migration, and we want to learn from how others have dealt with it and how they've dealt with the intricate problems that we are dealing with. South Africa has become an oasis of people who want to come here for a whole number of reasons. We need to be working with all other sister countries to see how best this challenge is resolved.
Ruto, on his part, addressed the now controversial U.S.-built facility at Kenya's Lepia Air Base that was due to open last week, according to U.S. officials, to quarantine Americans arriving from the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is battling a major Ebola outbreak.
One of the facilities that has now raised a bit of controversy is the facility we agreed to set up in conjunction with the Americans in one of our military air bases. And why have we done that? We have a huge American military contingent in Kenya, number one. Number two, we have set up the 23 other isolation places in Kenya with the support of friends, among them the Americans.
President Ruto and his South African counterparts also signed 6 agreements aimed at strengthening cooperation between the two countries. The agreements, which cover trade, shipping and maritime cooperation, technical and vocational training, gender equality, arts and culture, and sports, were signed at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. Uyi Agbomofuebe, Global TV News.
To end News Prime, here's a recap of our top stories. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called for urgent and collective action to address the growing impact of climate change, urging Nigerians and the global community to intensify efforts towards environmental protection and sustainability. And in business, the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria CIT says Nigeria's new tax reform framework has improved the country's investment climate by making tax incentive more transparent, targeted, and performance-driven. And on the foreign scene, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has hosted Kenya's President William Ruto for bilateral talks and a signing ceremony in the administrative capital, Pretoria. And finally, from the world of sport, the Nigerian Volleyball Federation, that is NVBF, has appointed new coaches for its senior age grade and bench volleyball teams following an extensive screening and selective process. And that's it on News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching.